I just have one question. When is President Joe Biden going to be dropping by Virginia?
Off tonight with 5 people shot in Norfolk. It happened on Granby Street. 2 of those people shot are dead tonight. 10 on your side's Michelle Wolf joins us live. Michelle, what are you learning about 2 of those victims?
Well, John, this really could have been anybody. This is such a busy area here. Granby Street, downtown Norfolk, people always out and about. 25-year-old Devin Harris and 25-year-old Sierra Jenkins died from their injuries. I spoke to Sierra's grandmother just a few hours ago. She showed me photos of Sierra throughout her life, and she is absolutely heartbroken. Norfolk police tell us the gunfire started just before 2 o'clock. This morning at the 300 block of Granby Street in downtown Norfolk, 5 people shot. You can see the bullet holes in nearby businesses that were struck. Sierra Jenkins was caught in the crossfire. Jenkins was a reporter for the Virginian Pilot and Daily Press and has been since 2019. Many of us here at Wavy crossed paths with her on stories. She was always positive, upbeat, and kind. Her grandmother tells us
Okay. Took place in March. They just now arrested this man. He killed a 25-year-old semi-pro football player. He killed a reporter, 25 years old, and a third victim, 24 years old, after a fight in a bar over an alleged spilled drink. I kid you not. Now, Joe Biden said the reason he didn't go to Waukesha, Wisconsin, after that massacre of those people at the Christmas parade is because, well, going there requires, quote, a lot of assets, close quote, meaning that it takes a lot of planning and a lot of material and a lot of inconvenience, I guess, for the locals if the president comes in there with his motorcade. But that didn't seem to be a problem for Buffalo. I guess it required too many assets for Joe Biden to visit Orange County when that Chinese man shot those people in that church who were of Taiwanese descent, injuring 3. And in Dallas recently, man entered a hair salon owned by Asians and shot it up. Apparently he had issues with Asian Americans, according to his girlfriend. Somehow Joe Biden didn't visit any of those places. You know why? Because it does not advance the narrative. The narrative, of course, is that America is bedeviled by white racism. White racism remains the biggest domestic threat there is. Chicago is on track for over, I think it's 700 homicides this year, more than any year since the mid-1990s. Chicago's a third Black, a third white, a third Hispanic. It is estimated that between 70 and 80% of them are Black on Black. And by the way, get this, something like 75% of those homicides are unsolved. Chicago, mayor's Black. Chicago, the head of the police, Black. And we're still talking about systemic racism when Black people are running the system. I wrote a piece called Inconvenient Fact About Mass Killings. We talked about this the other day. Turns out whites at 63% of the population, and almost all these mass killings are done by men, commit about 54% of the mass shootings, mass killings. So they are underrepresented. Blacks, at around 12.3% of the population, commit about 17.4% of these mass shootings, mass killings over the last 20 years, 20, 30 years. Where's Black Lives Matter? Where's Joe Biden? But it's racism, racism everywhere. You know why? Because that's all they've got. They can't talk about inflation. They can't talk about the borders. They can't talk about the economy. And one of these guys ultimately even admitted that's what the game plan was. I'll get to that in just a second. Here is Joe Scarborough, by the way, who used to be a Republican member of the House.
You take this heinous platform and you make the Republicans own it. I want to say it again, make the Republicans own it. Every Republican politician, every Republican candidate, ask them about it. Make it, because they can't run from it because it's part of who they are at this point, as disgusting as that is. But make it the Republican replacement theory. Mainstream it, because this is the way you have to scare. We don't have the economy on our side as Democrats. So you have to scare the bejesus out of people. The way to scare it is say, this replacement theory, this is not just coming from some dark corner of the web. This is the Republican.
We don't have the economy on our side. So we have to scare the bejesus out of them. This guy, by the way, he's a marketing guy, Donny Deutsch, regular guest on morning show on MSNBC, which I watch so you don't have to. We don't have the economy on our side. So let's accuse them of engaging in the Republican replacement theory.
Republican platform. Make them own it. And Democrats run from this fistfight. I know in the previous segment with Eugene Daniels, he talked about the president not wanting to call out names. Call out Tucker Carlson. Call out the politicians and make them own it. This is a Republican platform. It's the racist Republican replacement theory.
What do you say? We can't run on inflation. We get crushed. Can't run on the economy. Only 2% believe the economy is on the right track. We can't run on borders. By the way, I'm old enough to remember when Jimmy Carter was president and a bunch of Haitians came over here and they showed a bunch of video. And Jimmy Carter at one time said, we welcome the Haitians with open arms and open hearts. And then they showed the videos of people running into the country. And all of a sudden, Jimmy Carter did a 180 and stopped. Have you seen the video of people coming across our border lately? Well, if you watch CNN and MSNBC, you don't. If you watch Fox, it is absolutely scary. But let's talk about Republican racism. Here's what Joe Scarborough said. He said, powerful cable news networks are not preaching Republicanism anymore. They're preaching racial hatred.
See, because so many of those people online and on a powerful cable news network, they're not selling Republicanism anymore. They're not selling conservatism. I know what conservatism is. I've been conservative my entire life.
Sigh. I've been conservative my entire life. Have you seen the way he sucks up to Al Sharpton whenever Al Sharpton comes on? And by the way, notice he says they're not selling Republicanism anymore. So at one point, Fox was. I thought Fox was always racist. So you are conceding that Fox wasn't always racist. They just now became racist. Joe Scarborough. Joe Scarborough once introduced a resolution condemning Al Sharpton, whose rear end he kisses now almost every chance he can get on his own show. Now, it's finally happened. The Fed is realizing the dire straits our economy is in thanks to our loose monetary policy. Apparently, you can't just spend trillions of dollars every year with no repercussions. Now, to play catch up, the Fed has been raising rates and plans to do so 7 times this year. You're already starting to see those ripple effects in the housing market as people's buying power diminishes. Have you considered what would happen in the stock market if our economy stalls out? Don't wait until that happens. Take some of your profits from the stock market now and solidify them with gold from Birch Gold. Now, throughout history, gold has maintained its value better than any other investment in the world. Go to LarryForGold.com to get a free zero obligation info kit on holding gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account. Again, go to LarryForGold.com and secure the gains you've made while you can. Join the thousands of happy Birch customers with countless 5-star reviews and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. I trust the pros at Birch Gold, so go to LarryForGold.com and protect your future with gold. Now, as I mentioned, Donny Deutsch, who's a regular guest on MSNBC, says we don't have the economy on our side. Let's just we're gonna run against these racist Republicans. There is a left-wing guy, used to be the press secretary for Tip O'Neill, the then Speaker of the House. His name is Chris Matthews. Used to have a show on MSNBC. Here's what he said about Republicans and their unwillingness to vote for somebody if they think that they are racist. Listen to this.
It's for white people, because white people won't vote for a guy, most of them, if they think they're racist.
White people, at least most of them, won't vote for a guy if they think they're a racist. But we're going to take a break. We come back. Let's talk about racism. You hear about what happened with LeBron James's son and the young lady to whom he took to the prom. All that and more. I'm Larry Elder. Don't go away. LeBron James's son is named Bronny, and he is 17 years old. And he took a white young lady to his high school prom, shared photos of them in his custom $326,000 Mercedes. Wow. And got hammered on social media. Now, because social media, you don't know the race of the people who are sending all these posts. Could be anybody. However, if you read some of them, one gets the clear impression that at least some of the people attacking him with these racist posts are inconveniently black. That white girl is whiter than white, bro, said one. Another one said, should have got a black queen like his dad, and had an angry face emoji. Another Twitter user posted, lost another black king to a money-hungry white girl. Braun, gotta do better. SMH, with young people tell me, stands for shaking my head. Someone else branded her a gold digger, quoting lyrics from the song Gold Digger by Kanye West. Didn't Kanye West also marry somebody who wasn't black? I'm just saying. Now, there is a poll. We talked about it, I think, yesterday, the day before, by Rasmussen. And Rasmussen asked blacks, whites, Hispanics, and Asian Americans, of these four groups, which is the most racist? Whites said blacks were the most racist. Hispanics said blacks were the most racist. Asian Americans said blacks were the most racist. Blacks said blacks were the most racist. And this man is being attacked because he has a white girlfriend or a white girl he took to the prom. Boy, so much for MLK evaluating people based on content of character rather than color of skin. So much for that. By the way, didn't now Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, doesn't she have a white spouse? Kamala Harris, the vice president, who has a 72% approval rating among blacks, doesn't she have a white spouse? And if you read Barack Obama's first book, Dreams from My Father, he writes a lot about a white girlfriend he had, and he was deeply in love with her. And apparently she came from a nice family, wealthy family, and they embraced him, accepted him, loved him. He broke up with her, not because he fell out of love, but because he wanted a political career and he felt that she would be a liability. So Republicans are racist, and Donny Deutsch says Democrats need to run on the Republican replacement theory because we can't run on the economy, we can't run on inflation, we can't run on borders, we can't run on Afghanistan, we can't run on supply chain, we can't run on baby formula. So let's run on these guys are racist. Here's the problem with that. 4, 6, 8, 12. 4% is a percentage of the black vote Republicans got in 2008 when Obama ran the first time for president. 6% is a percentage of the black vote that Republicans got when Obama ran for re-election. So it went from 4% to 6%. Small numbers, but by percentage, a pretty hefty increase. Why? Because Obama presided over the worst economy since 1949 that presided over a recovery. The first recovery since 1949 where there wasn't at least 1 year of 3% GDP. And by the way, the percentage of blacks living in poverty when he entered the White House versus when he left the White House went up, not down. From 2010 to 2013, black net worth fell almost 30%. I repeat, from 2010 to 2013, when Obama was in office, Black net worth fell almost 30%, while white net worth flatlined. There was a very severe recession. Now, why do I blame Obama for that? Because the primary reason that blacks lost so much net worth is because they lost their homes. And a lot of people had homes that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten, but for this lie that banks were not lending to credit-worthy borrowers, a lie that Obama pushed when he was a civil rights lawyer and represented a bunch of people who were suing Citigroup, claiming that they were black and that they were applying for mortgages and they were being turned down because of racism. So Citigroup said, okay, gave 186 plaintiffs mortgages. And fast forward, virtually none of them was able to hold the home. Many of them went into bankruptcy. Very few of them were able to maintain their mortgages, which suggests that the reason they were turned down was because they weren't creditworthy and didn't deserve a loan because they weren't creditworthy. So Obama helped to push this lie. A bunch of people would have been better off renting, bought homes, because basically during that time, if anybody fogged up a mirror, you could get a home. And so a whole bunch of people got homes they otherwise wouldn't have gotten. And when the recession came, as recessions always do, a whole bunch of people, a disproportionately high percentage of them were black, got completely and totally wiped out. So when Obama ran in 2012, the percentage of the black vote the Republicans got increased from 4% 4 years earlier to 6%. Trump runs 2016. And he says, what do you have to lose? Talked about failing schools, and he embraced school choice, talked about crime, talked about borders. And the economist who's done more work on the impact of porous borders than anybody else is a guy named George Borjas. He's a Harvard economist. And he says there are winners and losers behind illegal immigration. And the big winner, of course, are big time employers who are able to hire people and pay them less money. Big loser? Blacks and browns living in the inner city with high school or less education, because most of the people coming up here from the South have less than high school. And therefore, people who have less than high school here are competing against them for jobs. And the presence of illegal alien labor puts downward pressure on their wages to the tune of between $1,800 and $2,000 a year. Then Donald Trump runs for re-election, of course, in 2020. And the percentage of the black vote Republicans get, 12%. From 8% to 12%, that's a 50% increase. And by the way, he got 20% of the black male vote. Why? Presided over the best economy in the history of the country for blacks. Pardoned the first black heavyweight champion, Jack Johnson. By the way, there was a 15-year effort to get Jack Johnson pardoned for having violated the Mann Act. He was convicted of violating the Mann Act, M-A-N-N, because he had white girlfriends and he transported them across state lines and allegedly violated the Mann Act. And he was prosecuted and found guilty. And there was a 15-year effort led by Ken Burns, a left-wing documentarian, and Sylvester Stallone, the actor. And they approached Barack Obama. Barack Obama said no. They approached George W. Bush. He said no. But Donald Trump said yes. Donald Trump also pardoned Alice Johnson, commuted the sentence of Alice Johnson, who'd gotten a very long sentence for a severe but non-violent drug offense. And of course, Donald Trump supports school choice. Urban parents, according to polls, support school choice. Donald Trump secured the borders to a degree that we've never seen in about 30 or 40 years. Again, a disproportionately negative impact of illegal aliens hurts black and brown workers. He also supported opportunity zones, reducing taxes and regulations in the inner city in order to spark economic activity. He put funding for historically black colleges and universities on a permanent funding for some 10 years. So if this man is racist, he needs to go back to racism school. Now, I want you to switch over to epoch. I pronounce it epic, and I'm told to pronounce it epoch, E-P-O-C-H TV, because we've been shafted by YouTube, suppressed by YouTube. We've had our content suppressed. So if you really want to hear this rest of the show live, you got to switch over to Epoch, E-P-O-C-H time, Epic TV, Epic TV. I'll be right back. People have been asking me, what have you been doing with your life since the election? Well, the truth is I've been enjoying life, riding my bike around town.
Oh, they're not wearing a mask.
I've taken up a little bit of fishing as well.
Elder kills innocent fish.
And I've been posting on social media. Oh, come on. Listen, if you're tired of the censorship as I am, I've actually got some great news for you. check out epictv.com. It's a brand new censorship-free video platform where you'll find not only my show, but other deep documentaries, great content, and honest movies that bring you the news without all the spin and the false narratives. So, check out epictv.com. I'll see you there.